You wake up in the middle of the night. Nothing is wrong. No noise, no bad dream, no reason. You're just suddenly, completely awake in the dark. So you do what anyone would do. You roll over, and you glance at the clock. It's 3:33. You think nothing of it. You close your eyes. You drift back to sleep. But the next night it happens again. You wake up. The room is black. The house is silent. And some quiet instinct makes you turn your head toward the clock on the nightstand. 3:33, the exact same time, to the minute. Maybe you laugh it off. A coincidence. Your body has a rhythm after all. People wake in the night all the time. But then it happens the night after that. And the night after that. Always the same. Always 3:33. Never 3:30. Never 3:40. Always those 3 threes. Glowing red in the dark. Waiting for you to open your eyes. And slowly, a question starts to form in the back of your mind. What is waking you up? Let's start with what science can tell you, because the science is real, and it's stranger than you'd think. Your sleep is not one long, smooth slide into unconsciousness. It moves in cycles, roughly 90 minutes each, climbing up and sinking down through light sleep, deep sleep, and dreaming. The sleep scientist Matthew Walker, who has spent his career studying what happens to us in the dark, describes the hours after 3 a.m. as a kind of biological turning point. Your deepest, heaviest sleep is mostly behind you. Your body temperature has hit its lowest point. And around this time, your brain begins releasing cortisol, the stress hormone, the chemical that will eventually pull you up toward morning. So there is a real measurable reason that millions of people surface from sleep in those small dark hours. Your body is, in a sense, designed to. That explains the waking. It does not explain the time. Because cortisol doesn't keep a watch. Sleep cycles drift and shift by minutes every night. Nothing inside your body is precise enough to deliver you to consciousness at the same instant, over and over, down to a single minute. And yet there you are, 3:33, again. Now picture the room around you in that moment. The dark feels different at this hour, heavier. The street lights are off. The neighbors are asleep. Even the sounds a house makes during the day, the hum of the fridge, the tick of pipes, seem to have gone quiet, holding their breath with you. This is the deadest, stillest part of the night. The hour when the world is most asleep, and you are most awake. There is an old name for this time. The Hour of the Wolf. The filmmaker Ingmar Bergman built an entire film around it in 1968, and he described it precisely. The hour of the wolf, he said, is the hour between night and dawn. It is the hour when most people die. The hour when sleep is deepest, when nightmares feel most real. And, he added, it is the hour when the sleepless are haunted by their deepest fears, when ghosts and demons are most powerful. He didn't invent that idea. He was reaching back into something much older. Long before clocks, before electricity, people feared the hours after midnight. In Christian tradition, 3 in the morning earned a darker name still, the devil's hour. Some believed it was a deliberate mockery, that 3 a.m. is the inversion of 3 p.m., the hour Christ was said to have died on the cross, so the powers that oppose him the story goes, claim the opposite hour as their own. A window between 3 and 4 in the morning, when the boundary between this world and whatever lies beyond it grows thin, when something on the other side can reach through. And the people who lived through those nights weren't just afraid of an idea. They were afraid of something they felt. Because here is where it gets worse. You wake at 3:33, and this time you are not alone.
You can't move. Your eyes are open. Your mind is racing, fully awake, fully aware. But your body will not respond. Your arms, your legs, your voice, all of it locked, frozen, dead weight pinning you to the mattress. You try to call out, nothing comes. You try to lift a hand. It won't move. And then you feel it.
The unmistakable crawling certainty that someone is in the room with you.
You can't see them, but you know exactly where they are. Standing in the corner, by the door, at the foot of the bed. You feel the weight of their attention, the cold patience of something watching you. And you feel, and this is the part no one forgets, you feel them begin to move closer. If this has ever happened to you, what you experienced has a name: sleep paralysis. And it is one of the most studied and most universal terrors in all of human experience. Here is what's happening in your brain. When you dream, your body is paralyzed on purpose. It's a safety mechanism that stops you from physically acting out your dreams. Normally, that paralysis switches off the instant before you wake. But often in those fragile hours after 3 a.m., your mind wakes up while your body is still locked in that protective freeze. You are conscious inside a paralyzed body, awake inside a sleeping shell.
The researcher Balan Jalal, a neuroscientist at Harvard, who has spent years studying this exact phenomenon, has documented something remarkable about it. All over the world in cultures that have never met, that share no language and no folklore, people who experience sleep paralysis report the same thing: a presence, a shadowy figure, a sense of evil intent, pressing down, drawing near. In Newfoundland, they called it the old hag, a witch who sits on your chest in the night. The folklorist David Hufford documented dozens of these accounts in his study of the phenomenon, a book he titled, fittingly, The Terror That Comes in the Night. In other countries, it's a demon, a jinn, a dead relative, a black shape with no face. Different names, different centuries, the same figure, standing in the corner of the room at 3 in the morning, watching a person who cannot move. So science gives you an answer. Your brain is awake, your body is asleep. The shadow figure is a hallucination, a ghost conjured by a confused mind in a vulnerable state. That should make you feel better, does it?
Because the science explains the paralysis. It explains the fear. It even explains the figure. But it does not explain why so many people, across so many of these nights, report the same final detail. The feeling that the figure is not random, that it knows them, that it has been here before on other nights, standing in that same corner, waiting for them to wake.
And it does not explain the time. Go back to that clock. 3:33. 3 threes. The same minute, night after night, as if something out there has set an alarm, and you are the one it's set for. There are people who have lived this for years, who have stopped fearing the waking and started fearing the not knowing. They've tried everything. They've moved the clock. They've covered it. They've thrown it out entirely, lain in the dark with no way to tell the time at all. And still, they wake. And still, when they finally check a phone, a watch, the glowing display of the microwave down the hall, it's 3:33. As if the time doesn't belong to the clock at all. As if it belongs to them now. As if it's been assigned. Think about your own house, late tonight, when you finally drifted off. The dark settling into the corners. The quiet pressing against the windows. Your body sinking down through those 90-minute cycles. Deeper and deeper toward the lowest, heaviest point of the night, and something somewhere beginning to count down toward 3:33.
Maybe it really is just biology, cortisol and circadian rhythm, and a brain that wakes you on a loop. Maybe the figure in the corner is only ever a misfiring mind, and the time is only ever coincidence. And there is nothing in the dark but you.
Maybe. But ask yourself this. The folklore came first. The fear of this exact hour is older than the science that explains it. Older than clocks. Older than the word for cortisol. For thousands of years in every corner of the world, human beings woke in the dead of night, felt watched, felt frozen, felt the nearness of something they could not name. And every single one of them landed on the same conclusion.
They were right to be afraid.
So here's what I want you to remember. The next time it happens, the next time you surface out of nowhere, heart steady, mind clear, and feel that quiet pull to turn your head toward the clock. Don't look at the time, because the moment you confirm it, the moment you see those 3 red 3s glowing back at you, you've answered the question that's been waiting for you all along. You're not waking up at 3:33. You're being woken, and whatever does the waking has been standing in the corner of your room every single night, patient and silent and close, watching you sleep, and waiting, only waiting, for the one night you finally turn your head the other way. So tonight, when the dark is deepest and the house is still, and you feel yourself rising up out of sleep for no reason at all, keep your eyes closed and listen for the sound of breathing that isn't yours.